What if I told you a lot of the opinions you think are yours actually aren't? What if the music you hate, the artists you defend, the things you get outraged about online were decided before you We live in a time where people don't just listen to music anymore. They wait to be told how to feel about it. Where liking the wrong artist can get you socially punished, and disagreeing with your favorite influencer can feel like betrayal. This isn't just about stan culture. This isn't just about social media. This is the slow death of critical thinking. And if we don't start noticing it, we might wake up one day and realize we've been living on borrowed opinions the whole time. There's something happening right now that's bigger than music, bigger than politics, bigger than social media drama. Critical thinking is dying, and most people don't even realize it. At some point, we stopped asking ourselves a simple question: what do I actually think? Instead, we started asking, what does the internet think? Or even worse, what does this person I idolize think? And once that answer is found, many people don't just consider it, they adopt it, they mirror it, they defend it, they build their identity around it. Not because they deeply examine the issue, not because they research multiple perspectives, but because alignment with influence feels safer than independent thought. And this isn't accidental. Modern online culture rewards speed over reflection, hot takes over nuance, viral certainty over intellectual humility. There's pressure to have an opinion immediately, even if you haven't thought about the topic for more than 30 seconds. So what happens? People outsource their discernment. Instead of watching something and deciding whether they personally enjoy it, they check Twitter, they check YouTube comments, they check their favorite streamer, they check their favorite rapper, they check their favorite political commentator, and they decide. But at that point, is it really their decision? Or are they just performing loyalty? Because for many people today, disagreement feels like social risk. If your favorite creator hates an album and you like it, now you feel weird about admitting that. If your online community cancels someone and you still support them, now you feel pressure to fall in line. So instead of thinking critically, people think strategically. They ask, what opinion keeps me accepted? Not, what opinion is actually mine? And this is where the real damage begins. Because when critical thinking disappears, so does intellectual independence. You stop engaging with ideas, you start choosing sides, you start analyzing information, you start collecting talking points. You stop forming beliefs, you start inheriting them. And the more that happens, the easier it becomes for influence, not truth, not logic, not experience, but influence to shape reality. The scariest part, many people today don't want freedom of thought. They want freedom from thinking. They want someone else to interpret their world for them. They want someone else to tell them who is right, who's wrong, what's valid, what's offensive, what's genius, what's trash. Because thinking takes effort, discernment takes courage, and independence sometimes comes with isolation. But without critical thinking, we don't just lose smart conversations, we lose agency. And when you lose agency, you become extremely easy to control. Now, where is the death of critical thinking more visible than hip hop culture? Because hip hop has always been opinionated. Debate used to be part of the culture. Who had the best bars? Who had the better album? Who was more authentic? Who was pushing the sound forward? People argued, but those arguments came from personal taste, lived experience, and real engagement with the music. Today, something feels different. Instead of forming opinions by actually sitting with an album, many listeners wait for the verdict. They wait for big YouTube reviewers, they wait for Twitter timelines, they wait for viral narratives, and once the narrative is established, a strange thing happens. People don't just agree with the opinion.
That criticism about fucking you supposed to be pro culture, but you sit over here. Yeah, I understand it when it come to Kendrick and SZA.
Yeah.
Those are two motherfuckers that you're gonna see on all the white outlets and never see with
Jay's
black
right.
people. When I done told them that. Kendrick is on my hug list. At the moment, it's only Kendrick on my hug list.
They repeat the same phrases, the same jokes, the same criticisms, word for word. You'll hear thousands of people call the project mid. But when you ask why, there's no analysis. No discussion of production, no discussion of songwriting, no discussion of themes or influence.
Leaning in into, I catching bodies, call your favorite rapper, I bodies, because it feels like, is he trying to bait somebody into battling him so he can get his lick back?
Song I've ever heard in my life. Maybe. Because I genuinely, it's a moment here where I'm like, you know what, I maybe, but nah, I can't. This is MAGA music. I'm sorry. It's MAGA music through and through.
Bro, she deserves, bro, I'm not joking, bro. Stop listening to her music. Cardi and Abel, why would you give her a feature on a remix? You shouldn't have cleared it.
Just borrowed language, borrowed energy, borrowed certainty. Music starts to become less about sound and more about social positioning. Liking the right artist signals intelligence. Hating the wrong artist signals loyalty. Supporting certain figures becomes a badge of identity. And once taste becomes trivial, critical thinking becomes dangerous. Because if your entire online community has decided an artist is washed, admitting you enjoy their new music can feel like a betrayal. If your favorite influencer declares someone the future of hip-hop, questioning that hype can make you feel out of touch. They don't ask, how does this make me feel? They ask, how am I supposed to feel about this? This creates a culture where narratives travel faster than the music itself. Albums get judged before they're fully heard. Artists get labeled before they're fully understood. Careers get written off based on memes instead of merit. And over time, the audience stops being participants in the culture. They become echo chambers with headphones. Hip-hop was built on individuality, on perspective, on saying something different, even if it made people uncomfortable. But if fans lose the ability to think independently, then the culture risks becoming predictable. Not because artists stop creating, but because listeners stop truly listening. There's a difference between being a fan and being a soldier. And in today's music culture, that line is getting harder to see. Stan culture has transformed what it means to support an artist. Support used to mean you bought the album, you showed up to the show, you debated their greatness with your friends, you defended them when criticism felt unfair, but you could still admit when something wasn't their best work. Now, for many people, support means something else. It means unconditional alignment. If the artist drops, it's automatically fire. If they get criticized, it's automatically hate. If numbers are low, the charts are rigged. If views are bad, the media is biased. At that point, appreciation of the music gets replaced for protection of image. And that changes how people listen. Instead of asking, is this actually good? They ask, how can I prove this is good? Instead of experiencing music, they build arguments around it. Streaming becomes campaigning. Playlists become propaganda. Opinions become loyalty tests. And once loyalty becomes the main currency, honesty becomes risky. Because criticizing your favorite artist can feel like criticizing your own identity. Stan culture also creates artificial wars. Fans start fighting on behalf of artists who may not even know they exist. Entire timelines become battlegrounds over first week numbers, sales projections, and chart placements. Music, which is supposed to be emotional, subjective, personal, gets reduced to scorekeeping. Who sold more? Who trended longer? Who got more likes? And ironically, this obsession with defending artists can actually hurt the culture, because real appreciation includes room for growth. If fans refuse to acknowledge weak projects, artists lose honest feedback. If every release is declared a classic, the word classic stops meaning anything. Stan culture turns listening into a performance. Music appreciation turns listening into a relationship. One is about proving devotion, the other is about experiencing art. One demands certainty, the other allows complexity. You can love an artist and still dislike a song. You can respect someone's influence and still question their direction. You can be a fan without becoming an extension of their PR team. And maybe the healthiest version of music culture is one where support doesn't require silence and appreciation doesn't require blind loyalty. To really understand Stan culture and the depth of critical thinking around influence, you have to understand something deeper: parasocial relationships. This is a psychological phenomenon where an audience member forms a one-sided emotional bond with a public figure. The artist doesn't know them, They've never spoken, they've never shared space, but emotionally, it can feel like a relationship. And in the digital era, this effect is stronger than ever because artists and creators are no longer distant celebrities. They live stream, they vlog, they tweet their thoughts in real time, they show behind the scenes moments, they talk about their struggles, their families, their mental health. All of this creates the illusion of intimacy. Fans begin to feel like they've grown with the artist, like they understand them, like they're part of their journey. And once the emotional connection forms, something important happens. Criticism stops being intellectual. It starts feeling personal. If someone criticizes the music, the fans feel like they're criticizing the person. If someone questions the artist's behavior, the fan feels like they're attacking someone they care about. This is why stan culture can become so defensive, so aggressive, so emotionally charged. It's not just about sound anymore. It's about protection. Parasocial bonds can also give people a sense of identity and belonging. Supporting a certain artist can connect you to a community, a language, a shared humor, a shared worldview. For some fans, this fills real social or emotional gaps. And there's nothing inherently wrong with that. Music has always helped people feel less alone. The problem starts when emotional attachment replaces independent judgment, when liking the artist becomes more important than evaluating the art, when defending the artist becomes more important than understanding reality. At that point, influence becomes psychological leverage, because the stronger the parasocial bond, the easier it is for fans to adopt opinions, dismiss criticism, rationalize contradictions, and mirror behavior, not because they're unintelligent, but because loyalty is powerful. Parasocial relationships blur the line between connection and projection. Fans may feel seen by the artist, while actually seeing their own hopes, frustrations, and identity reflected back at them. And when your sense of self gets tied to someone else's public image, critical thinking doesn't just feel difficult, it feels dangerous. Because questioning them can start to feel like questioning yourself. At the end of the day, this conversation isn't really about hip hop. It's not just about influencers. It's not just about stan culture. It's not just about social media. It's about something deeper. It's about whether we still have the courage to think for ourselves. Because right now, we're living in an era where opinions are mass-produced. Narratives are distributed faster than facts. And influence can shape perception before we even realize we're being influenced. We built a world where you can open your phone and instantly be told what to be outraged about, what to be excited about, what to support, who to hate, what's mid, what's a classic, what's acceptable, what's cancelable. And if you're not careful, you can go your entire day reacting instead of reflecting, mirroring instead of evaluating, performing awareness instead of actually understanding. Critical thinking isn't dying because people are stupid. It's dying because thinking independently has become uncomfortable. It can isolate you from your online community. It can make you feel uncertain. It can force you to sit with a nuance in a culture that rewards certainty. But here's the truth. Every time you let someone else decide what you believe, you give away a piece of your agency. Every time you adopt an opinion without examining it, you become easier to influence. And every time you silence your own perspective just to stay aligned with the crowd, you train yourself to stop trusting your own mind. Music was never meant to be experienced through permission. Art was never meant to be filtered through consensus. Culture was never meant to be dictated by whoever has the loudest opinion or platform. The real power of hip-hop and the real power of any culture comes from individuality, from perspective, from disagreement, from people hearing the same song and walking away with completely different feelings. That's not division, that's life. So maybe the real question isn't whether influencers have too much power or whether stan culture has gone too far. Maybe the real question is, are we still willing to do the work of forming our own thoughts? Because thinking for yourself takes time. It takes humility. It takes the willingness to be wrong and strength to stand alone when you're right. But if we lose that, we don't just lose better conversations, we lose freedom. Not the freedom they debate about on television, the quieter freedom. The freedom to listen, to question, to disagree, to decide.